Howdy, folks. Widget Walls from needcoffee.com here. Back again for another Wayhomer review. And let me just say, I don't want you to panic, because I know that I've done over 150 of these, and you've never seen me climb into the car wearing anything this light. But bear in mind that, and this is going to be a dead giveaway, I'm wearing my Intramural Zombie Hunting League shirt. Because, you know, I'm one of the faithful. So that's why you're seeing me wearing this. It's a shirt so cool, I would wear it even though it's not black. So anyway, obviously, we're here to talk about a certain film, but let me explain. I've just left the cinema. I've gone to Tinkle. I've climbed into my car, and I'm going to tell you about the film on my way home. And the film we're here to talk about is, of course, World War Z. Okay, so World War Z synopsis. Zombie apocalypse. That's almost your synopsis. No. Zombie apocalypse, right? And Brad Pitt plays a guy who was a UN investigator who was the best there was at what he did. And then he left. But he's, you know, spending time with his family when all of a sudden, zombie apocalypse! And he's called in by his friend in the UN and basically said, you're the guy to go and try and figure out what the hell happened and how we can fight this thing. And thus, he is sent on a round-the-world mission to try and find the source of the disease and then kill it. There's your synopsis. Now, let me get this out of the way first, okay? I really like Max Brooks's World War Z, the book, okay? I also really, really like World War Z, the audiobook, which they've just put out an unabridged version of. Basically, the deal with World War Z, the book, is that it's a guy going around and interviewing survivors from the World War against the zombies, and everyone is telling their stories, and they're telling basically individual stories about this worldwide outbreak. So it's multiple voices, and the audiobook, of course, has multiple people playing the parts and reading out the chapters, so to speak. And it's really good. Now, you may have noticed that already it's pretty obvious that we don't have multiple points of view because it's a Brad Pitt movie, okay? Nothing against Brad Pitt. I love Brad Pitt, okay? But this is a Brad Pitt movie, capital B, capital P. So, what this shares, in case you haven't already figured it out by the trailer, what this shares with the book is the name and the fact that there's zombies in it and the fact that it's worldwide. That's pretty much it. So, I want to say, first and foremost, I don't review these things as an adaptation. I understand how Doc Ezra feels when I mention the title that I should not, because it's going to make him foam at the mouth, so Doc, plug your ears. Starship Troopers. When I mention that, okay, I enjoyed that film because I have no connection to the book, okay? Doc does, and he would like that film a lot better if it was simply called Bug Hunt, okay? I admit, I'm trying to stay as unbiased as possible because I don't review this as being an adaptation. I knew going in it was not going to be an adaptation of the book. The book needs to be adapted as an HBO series of, like, TV movies, a lot like Sherlock, with an hour and a half each, with a different director for each one and a different cast, okay? That's what World War Z needs to be. And in fact, get the people behind that short film Cargo to direct at least one of them, all right? So this is not World War Z, okay? This is simply a movie about a worldwide zombie outbreak. So, that's established. As an adaptation, it sucks goat balls, okay? But I'm not reviewing it for that. I'm just getting that out of the way and getting it off my chest. Now, that being said, I was willing to go with it. Now, at the beginning of the film, and you know this because this is in the trailer, when things start to go nuts, right? On the streets of Philadelphia, where, that could be a song, where basically civilization starts to break down with Brad Pitt and his family in the car. That's in the trailer. I'm not giving anything away. That entire opening sequence, that entire, I think it may have been as long as a half hour, okay, of Brad Pitt and family on the ground dealing with the zombie menace, that's actually really good. And here's why it's especially good, is because it's so good that even if you went in as a fan of the book, you're going to be able to go, okay, I see that this is a zombie film, this isn't the book, right? So they were very smart in doing that, okay? Much like, and I don't know how on purpose that was, but it reminds me of the Dawn of the Dead remake, where I think on purpose, Zack Snyder said, okay, we need to make it very clear we're not doing a straight remake of the film. Let's do some crazy stuff and have this 15-minute opening section that'll blow everybody's mind, okay? And so it sets you up to just say, okay, I'll go with you. They do that very, very well. The other thing they do very well, and again, I don't know how on purpose this was, is they understand that their CG zombies look like ass, okay? They look as bad in the trailer, they look as bad in the film as they did in the trailer, okay? Now, I understand why they had to go with some digital zombies for the crowd sequences and for the River of Zombies bit, because they have zombies doing things that you can't get people to do, all right? Like round corners and smash into walls really, really hard, okay? Pull themselves through broken glass windows and pile up on the side of walls, okay? So there's a lot of stuff going on that you've got to have digital effects for. But I ask you this, did they have to look so bad that, literally, it's like the only way there could have been more stretch and squeeze involved with these if it had been a Disney animated film, okay? All right? It was really, really bad. Now, but, to the film's credit, much like Jaws is an effective film because Spielberg knew that he had a shark that didn't work, okay? And thus kept it out of the picture for most of the film, right? It was the unseen menace. You've got a lot of shots of craziness and of people turning and whatever else. So they try to keep the digital zombies to a minimum. And I would like to credit that to the fact that they knew that their effects were crap, okay? Because those are crap, all right? They're not going to get any better. They look horrible. Now, when you've got one-on-one actual people zombies, they have some really cool makeup effects, and they've done some things to make them, more disturbing. Because I think they also understand we've seen a lot of zombies. We've seen a lot of fast zombies. Now, granted, these are super fast zombies. These are like zombies that have had their Wheaties, okay? Zombies that eat Wheaties, right? There's a product tie-in for you. And by the way, if there's one sequence in it, you'll know it if you see it. If it was a product tie-in, it's probably one of the most hilarious ones I've ever seen. I almost hope it was. Anyway. But, basically, what the hell was I saying? I got off on Wheaties and product placement. Oh, okay. So there's not... The digital zombies are kept to a minimum so they don't completely take you out of the film. Okay? That's good. So the setup is good. And it actually goes along at a pretty decent pace. However, there are some plot points where you go, okay, I'm not quite sure how that makes sense. Like, you've seen it in the trailer, the David Morse character, when he shows up, not quite sure how that makes sense, okay? And, there's a sequence, you've seen it on the trailer, on a jet, basically, they're in the air, again, it's in the trailer, you know it's going to happen, not quite sure how that makes sense. And again, I don't want to say much more beyond that, because I don't want to spoil anything for you, I don't do spoilers, but the way that they have things moving, it's almost like we have super fast zombies. Because we understand that we have a worldwide zombie menace and we only have 2 hours and a bit to deal with it, right? So you've got to speed everything up. So you've got to have things moving fast so we can get from place to place, and we can have this, mystery and solve it, okay? And that's fine. But there's certain places where it feels a bit contrived, okay? And now a couple of them only occurred to me after the fact, where I, as I'm tinkling, I'm, thinking thoughts, as one does. And, you just go, I wonder about that. But here's the thing that I don't know, okay? Here's what I don't know. And somebody from the actual CDC, not the Walking Dead CDC, which, is actually a concert hall. Somebody from the actual CDC or somebody who actually knows viruses or something can help me out with this. I was unaware that you could not cure something unless you found its origin, right? Like, you had to go and find the spot where it started. I thought you just cured it by having it in the lab and doing tests on it. Is there some sort of express lane thing where, well, if you did find patient 0, then we could do some tests on him? I don't know. I mean, I have a degree in English. I don't know anything about science. I can barely spell science. So I'm just saying that to me seems a little weird, because I'm sure that would have been used as a plot device before now. And again, maybe it has. I have not seen every film in the world. So there's certain things like that that are a little weird. And then, just when you're thinking that, okay, I can deal with this, it's okay, I'm still enjoying myself, I'm coming to the end of this. Even when they have, you see how they're going to do their ending, and you go, okay, I'm still willing to go with this. I'm willing to go with this. They do a really horrible ending that's just lame and lame. I mean, like, okay, I did not mind the narration at the end of the regular Blade Runner, okay? If you found that annoying, because I know apparently a lot of people do, if you found that obtrusive and annoying, this is going to blow your mind, okay? So, basically what you've got is, we could have had the zombie Red Storm Rising, okay? I equate World War Z to the zombie Red Storm Rising, just like I equate your friend and mine, Jonathan Mayberry's Patient 0, to zombie Rainbow Six, okay? But we could have had that. Instead, we got 28 days later, on speed, in more locations, with a lame ending. That's what we've got. And it's sad, because here's what worries me about this. Here's what worries me about this, is I am sure that this is going to make some money, okay? Because especially overseas and stuff, because it's 3D, which, by the way, was pointless, okay? So don't do the 3D. In fact, I'm starting to just dock points for 3D that's pointless. I mean, I forgot that I was watching 3D, which, I mean, on one hand, you want to, but on the other hand, it's like, damn it, I paid extra for this. I mean, $11 for a morning matinee show to see it in 3D, to see if it was worth anything. I want something, okay? Nothing. Anyway, my fear is, despite the fact that Walking Dead is doing really well on television, and zombies still appear to be selling books and whatnot, is that Hollywood is stupid, okay? So all they need is for this to tank, or considering, I don't know how much the budget was, it was some ridiculous budget, considering how much they spent on it, for it to bomb, or even be perceived as a bomb, because the Sony Godzilla even made money, but it's still seen as a bomb, right? So even if it has the perception of bombing, then my fear is that they're going to say, oh, well, you see, zombie movies are all played out. No, good zombie movies are fine. Rubbery zombie movies where, you're equating, well, let's make them faster, with good, not great, okay? So, I won't say I'm disappointed, because based on the trailer, I wasn't expecting a great deal, but I am still disappointed because I do like Brad Pitt, and I was willing to go with a Brad Pitt starring zombie apocalypse movie and points to him for being game for it. In fact, points to him for doing a bidding war with Leonardo DiCaprio to get the rights for this. Although I'm really sort of fascinated to see what Leo's take on this would have been. Anyway, so I was willing to go with it, so I won't say I was disappointed. I just, nah. So, and I am, I don't know. I'm a bit apprehensive about if this doesn't do well. I mean, it's getting pretty good reviews from what I've seen. I don't read them. I just look at the Rotten Tomatoes rating because I can't help it when I'm looking for movie times. But if it does fall on its face, that's going to be bad for the entire subgenre, and so I am apprehensive. So, cup time. I'm sorry I didn't do a cup on last time. This is why it's good for me to have a camera person, because they remind me when I'm just ranting and raving. Cup-wise, I'm going with 2 cups. I'm sure in 2D it would have been a 2.5, but like I said, if I'm paying for 3D, I want to feel like I paid my money's worth, and money doesn't grow on trees, so therefore I take back a half cup for you wasting my money. So if you must see this, and I understand, maybe you like zombies, but you haven't read World War Z, which is probably the best way to go into this, and if you have, I would be fascinated to hear your take on it, because I think my problems with the film have nothing to do with the book, because there's no bit of the book there. But I would be fascinated to hear your take on it. Please leave it in the comments on YouTube or on the coffee. But I would say definitely catch a matinee so that you can save a few bucks. That would be my advice to you. So there you go. That's another Wayhomer in the can. Thanks so much for watching these. And as always, please take a moment, and because we do like traffic, that helps support us. Take a moment and share this 2 places. Put it on Pinterest, put it on Tumblr, share it on Facebook, whatever you do. If you enjoyed watching this, especially if you watched this far, God help you, take a moment and share this 2 places. I know we all have about 5 social networks that we're on, so pick 2 and share it. That would be very, very helpful. So until next time, this is Witch Walls for the Wayhomer Reviews. So, bye.